honestly, you didn't vote for Romney. Had you voted for Romney, it would have been much closer. You didn't vote for Romney. The evangelicals, religion didn't get out and vote. And I don't know why, whatever the reason, I'm not sure why, a lot of different reasons for it, but people did not get out and vote. But you have really now a one-time shot.
Donald Trump yesterday in Orlando urging evangelical voters to vote in the general election. Now, in the primary, Trump had huge success with evangelical voters, blue-collar workers, and everyday Americans. His candidacy has changed the rules of presidential politics, and our guest explores the lure of Donald Trump in her soon-to-be-released book. Ann Coulter is here, and Ann's soon-to-be-released book, and I want to make sure I get that right, is entitled In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Awesome. I was sitting down with Mr. Trump a couple of nights ago before the rally in Fort Lauderdale, and I asked him about the campaign trail and, you know, the ongoing debate over debates. Typically it's between campaign teams. Now it seems to be between Donald Trump and the rest of America, because you had the whole deal with the NFL. Yeah, you know, the NFL's got a couple of games that coincide with the debate, and there's been a lot of talk about that. And then there's also been talk about the moderator. Tell you what, we'll listen to what Mr. Trump had to say, then get your reaction.
We want a moderator that's going to be fair, and if we have a fair moderator, that's going to be wonderful. I look forward to the debates. We've had very good luck in the debates before, as you know. In the previous, I actually participated in 11 debates, and it was terrific. I really enjoyed it. So I look forward to the debates, but we certainly want to negotiate certain things, moderator being one of them.
So no Candy Crowley this year.
I wouldn't count on that. Look, it doesn't matter to Trump. He's a fantastic spokesman, and thank God, literally, I'm not taking the Lord's name in vain, that we finally have a man pushing important ideas like this, and someone who will fight back and raise embarrassing issues for the Democrats. But when I was listening yesterday to the various moderators being proposed by people like Hugh Hewitt, I'm just listening to all the names thinking, oh, so we get to choose the best of a group of people, none of whom will vote for Donald Trump. No, I have an idea. Lincoln and Douglas didn't have moderators. No moderators. You can have a timekeeper. We don't want one person, you know, over-talking. No, the best moderator for Donald Trump is Donald Trump. And I would say the best moderator for Hillary, well, no, it isn't. I mean, the best moderator for Hillary is what it's going to be. So it will be 2 to 1. Why do Republicans always just sit back and accept, oh, of course we're going to have people who will never vote for our nominee. Let's just pick the fairest Democrat. Is it Candy Crowley? Is it George Stephanopoulos? No. Why? How has the media managed to inject itself into an election? Again, Lincoln and Douglas didn't have moderators. We don't need them picking the questions. And if they do pick the questions, you know perfectly well it's going to be all about transgender bathrooms and a woman's right to choose and a talking snowman. No, actually, the American people have expressed themselves pretty damn clearly this year with both Trump and Sanders. We want to hear about immigration, trade, and no more foreign wars. That's what we care about, and I know Trump will keep it on those subjects.
So again, this is not a closed circuit. This is straight off Newsmax TV. Ann Coulter says Lincoln-Douglas format. That's all we need for those 3 debates.
Right. And moreover, for at least one of them, Trump ought to say, let's do 90 minutes, no commercials. Because guess who I don't think can make it 90 minutes without a break.
We'll just let that, we'll let those looking in ponder that. I do have another name, maybe somewhat related, Hillary Clinton. Hillary is trying to expand her base, reaching out to some Republicans who claim to be disturbed about Donald Trump. Here's what she said yesterday at a rally in Michigan.
It is true that too often past trade deals have been sold to the American people with rosy scenarios that did not pan out. It is also true that China and other countries have gamed the system for too long. But the answer is not to rant and rave or cut ourselves off from the world. That would end up killing even more jobs. The answer is to finally make trade work for us, not against us. My message to every worker in Michigan and across America is this: I will stop any trade deal that kills jobs or holds down wages, including the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
So, Ann, can you translate Hillary E's? Because I thought she was for TPP, and then she's in Michigan. What's she saying? She's going to change the definition once she becomes president?
It wasn't just that. I was watching that speech live and tweeting it. You can follow me on Twitter at Ann Coulter. First, she came out and said this country needs a builder. We build things. Wait a second, which one is the builder in this race? Number two, she comes out for against the bad trade deals, doesn't add the parenthetical, which my husband signed into law and pushed for. NAFTA, and he was the one who was pushing pushing China into the World Trade Organization, which has been a complete disaster for American workers. Then she came out for closing the loophole for hedge fund managers. Donald Trump is the first candidate to run for president of either party who will do that because they're both beholden. They all need the Wall Street money. I was waiting, a little further in the speech. She was about to come out for building a wall on the southern border. I mean, she is just 100% co-opted, as a lot of the Republicans tried to do. But I think Americans, they're lying to you. It took Donald Trump injecting this into the campaign. The media wasn't going to bring it up. The Democratic Party wasn't going to bring it up. The Republican Party wasn't going to bring it up. Donald Trump has done this all on his own. I say I don't care about the polls. Do not count Donald Trump out. Look what he has accomplished so far with every powerful entity against him, including Fox News, including CNN and MSNBC, the official Republican Party, the official Democratic Party, Hollywood, the New York Times, everyone up at Macy's. Did you see? They're not doing so well. And one after another, he triumphs over them.
Now, to the soon-to-be-released book.
Yes.
In Trump We Trust. You touched on it a second ago. And it's an issue that I was raising HE-double hockey sticks about 10 years ago. But my book didn't quite have the same impact of Donald Trump coming out and talking about stopping illegal immigration.
Thank God he read Adios America. I mean, I feel like one of those insects that gives birth and then can go off and die. I've done all I need to do. Donald Trump read that book. The country has been burning with rage, and we have not had a champion. Donald Trump came along, I'll admit, for the first couple of weeks, we've been betrayed so many times. I just kept waiting. Okay, when's he going to say he's going to take it all back about Mexico sending rapists and drug dealers? And my gosh, he never took it back. He doubled down.
So, to the soon-to-be-released book, gotta ask you, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, said Twain. Dick Nixon used the line silent majority, so has Donald Trump. Yep. Is it back? Will it stay so silent in November?
It's not so much that it's silence as silent or as silenced. I mean, that is another reason. And look, maybe we're whistling past the graveyard, but as I say in my upcoming book, I just want to know, is the country over? Is it done? Because I don't want to care about politics anymore if the whole country has become California and Republicans can never win a national election. I just want to know the answer. But I do think the polls with Donald Trump, for a couple of reasons, but the big one is he is bringing out people who have not voted for 20, 30 years. And there's no way for a pollster, an honest pollster, to capture that, because part of what they look at is, did you vote in the last election? Are you registered to vote? And if they didn't do that, if you had pollsters saying, well, okay, this guy hasn't voted for 20 years, but I just think he's going to vote this year, we'd say, screw you. You can't do that. You're fiddling with the data. So they are being honest, the pollsters. But man, there are a lot of people out there, and I'd put it in the millions, and I think it is. One thing that Trump just got slightly wrong. Evangelicals came out very strong for Romney. It wasn't so much the classification of evangelical, it was the part of the country. And it was the part of the country that we need, that Trump is doing well in, and that Romney didn't do well in, which is in the Midwestern industrial states.
And that area, Mr. Trump speaks to with a special eloquence. So, in this soon-to-be-released book, the whole notion of putting America first.
Yep.
Pat Buchanan tried to offer it back in '92. People weren't listening. We went down the globalist road.
Right.
Now Donald Trump has reaffirmed the theme.
No, that's right. And oddly, it's popular with American voters to put their interests first. It never occurred to either of the political parties. But, I mean, you won't see these people on TV. I've noticed, or or being quoted in the Washington Post and the New York Times. I've noticed whenever I leave my home, keep the TV off, whenever I leave my home, I think, oh my gosh, Trump is going to win in a landslide. I mean, just all sorts of people that you do not expect to be Republican voters who voted for Obama twice, many who haven't voted at all for a while, and they're all fanatically for Trump. And then I go home and turn on the TV, and I think, oh my gosh, there's going to be a landslide against him. That's because everyone who hates him is part of our people who are invited on TV.
Well, that's why we're not the media, we're Newsmax TV, and that's
Right.
why, Ann Coulter, we're so glad to have you here on Newsmax Prime. Again, the name of the soon-to-be-released book is In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Awesome. Ann Coulter, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back with more right after this.